A conflict over a deal to lease at least a 700-hectare piece of land to build an oil waste treatment plant in Hoima district typifies the jockeying for property rights in the Albertine sub-region, which sits on 6.5 billion barrels of crude oil. Rwamutonga was once a remote outpost near Buseruka with tall savanna grass that provided the allied democratic forces a safe haven. It is here in the late 1990s where ideologue Jamil Mukulu, currently facing terrorism, murder and treason charges in the High Court in Kampala, gathered his acolytes to launch a jihad against the Ugandan government. Rwamutonga may no longer be a backwater, but for the locals who have tasted abrupt change, they believe they were better off in a rudimentary setting. When oil exploration commenced, there was a scramble for land as oligarchs and speculators began to eye these lucrative deals to the detriment of the local community. Since oil exploration activities began here in Bunyoro, a contest has emerged between the underclass and the privileged. It would come therefore as no surprise that a 2,000-acre piece of land centrally located in the oil belt could attract a protracted fight over its ownership. In a sub-region historically marginalized, local vigilante groups emerged to fight for their interests. Once an oasis of peace, Rwamutonga has embraced conflict in a land tainted with blood of those who paid the price in the treacherous slaughter fields during the colonial era. In 2014, Enoch Buchali and his wife Eunice Akumu, who were residing on this land, were burned to death.
So this case of murder, when the Muzei had got a court order to chase away people from his land, the squatters, yes, people moved away. There was a particular person who remained because I think he had remained as somebody to either take care of his properties and people, I think people he favored remained. As a person whom he favored, he remained. So at night, unknown people came and set the house ablaze, and the person died in. So we opened. The wife.
In the same year, over 200 families were violently evicted when gunshots rang out and their hearts were touched.
So there was, yes, so when the eviction took place, the local administration decided to cut off the media so that the story is not told until a concerned person called us and we had to sneak in with media from Kampala. The Hoima media couldn't reach that area. So that made the story go out, and it attracted a lot of attention from civil society, but also from other development partners. So we started now investigating what was going on and trying to help the communities to access justice through court.
They fled to live in an IDP camp. Here, they lived a destitute life, and their children died of preventable diseases like cholera.
Nilikuwa hapa tunapiga sisi huko. Tunarudi kwa camp. Kwa camp nilikuwa na mtoto yangu. Ugonjwa nakuja kamata yeye. Zaidi hali ya kutumia dawa akona, pesa akona. Dawa alikuwa akona. Nilijaribu kupata dawa ingine kadogo lakini pesa akona. Paka nasenda mimi alikufa.
People were in a camp, they had no shelter, they had no food, children were not going to school. So as an organization, we had to look at those very basic, urgent things, and we mobilized civil society groups to contribute to relief, school items, construct a temporary school for them in the camp, but also to give them food and clothing to sustain them.
It's also claimed that some brave women who returned to Rwamutonga to look for food to feed their starving families were raped by the guards at the land.
Inaitwa Uwish James. Huyo dada yangu inaitwa Mungriek Anna. tarehe 5 ya mwezi ya 9 dada yangu huwa anaenda kutoa muogo. Halafu baada ya kwenda kutoa muogo, waskari mwenye wanaleta hapo ya Tibagwa hii wanakamata hiyo dada yangu, walilala naye.
We have not registered that case. That case of rape we have not registered.
Others are accusing police of detaining them on trumped up charges.
Paka kuna maliza mwaka mmoja na mwezi mbili. Mwaka mmoja na mwezi mbili. Prison kunapata sida, ugonjwa, kiboko, kukula mbaya, kufanya nini, yote kila mwenyetu kunapata hapa. Ndio sasa bado iko juzi wanakwenda release sisi. So hapo nafika hapa nyumbani napata watoto yangu vile wanafunga, mimi wanafunga kwa bibi yangu na watoto yangu yote, haiko kwa tabu vile. Sasa hata mimi nafika sasa mimi bado naona hata mwili ya mtoto yangu mmoja.
One time I was arrested on charges of murder of people who died here after the eviction. They even died in the land which was fenced. The security guards were like half a kilometer at the site where they died, but instead they would arrest us, claiming that murder was actually intended to eliminate some of us as leaders. I stayed in police cell for like a week.
However, the deputy police spokesperson Patrick Onyango denies these allegations.
Because we are not a party to this. We are actually neutral. We are only called in when there is a criminal element. And we don't take sides. There is no any side that we say that we are on this side or this side. No. As police, we are neutral in this matter. That's why you see their battle is always in court. And that's where it ends.
There's also fear that the oil waste treatment plant, an investment worth millions of dollars, could be scattered. This conflict has roped in State House officials, district leaders, MPs and community leaders. Several lawsuits have been filed, but the delay to dispense justice has left rivals with their own set of facts and each one an arbiter in his own cause.
Can do election petitions within a month and dispose them off. I don't see why we cannot handle community, big public interest cases like those in at most a year.
The genesis to this crisis began in 2013 when Joshua Tibagwa entered into a lease with McAllister Energy.
The main person of the project flew in from US, Texas, because he had not been there before. And we went with him again to physically, although he could see the land by Google Earth from US, but he wanted to see physically. And we went with him to the site. We didn't meet anybody, no resistance. We moved around up to the end until when we decided to go back to Hoima and Kampala. We had some people making some funny noise. We kept on moving, driving. Then we met a tree which had been cut and had blocked the truck. It is a truck which is a motorable truck. So we didn't know what it was. As we looked ahead, we saw a group of many young people with sticks, with machetes.
Resources limited to build a waste treatment plant. According to records at the Registrar of Companies, which NTV has accessed, the owners of the company are 3 Americans, including Chris Baden, Leonard Dust, Rochelle Gibbons, and Abu Mukasa, a Ugandan, who has a knack to break barriers and secure deals for investors. When I telephoned one of the shareholders, Leonard Dust, seeking an interview, he revealed that he was reluctant to speak to the media, which has in the past given their firm a negative image. The details of the lease agreement reveal that a sum of $300 would be paid first to pay off bona fide occupants and Robert Vansigaraho, who also has an interest on the land. McAllister would then pay the rest of the fee, worth $1,350,000 on condition that those with an interest on the land leave. However, after paying the money, the land remained occupied. On 14th July 2014, court issued a warrant to give vacant possession of this land to Tibagwa and his daughter, Robina Kusima. This is what prompted the eviction. However, in a revision application heard by then Masindi High Court Judge Byabakama Mugenyi, this decision was varied after it was revealed that Bansigarao fraudulently entered into a consent judgment with Tibagwa. The consent order required Bansigarao to cause all occupants to vacate the land within a period of 10 years. Byabakama, who is now the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, in his judgment in 2017, opined that it was not for Bansigarao to determine that the occupants were trespassers, but this was a role by a competent court. Judge Byabakama also ruled that the eviction was erroneous.
To put a blame on, because if there are 3 civil suits in that area, how would you give a court order to only one party? And you don't even reach locus to know where that is passing, which land we are talking about, because the court order to evict on plot 8 can be used to evict on the whole village. And this is what happened. A court order to evict Bansigarao was sweepingly used to evict the whole village. And that's when they said this was a wrongful eviction. Then you reinstate us, then court takes another 2 years without taking you back to the land. And then you know how people get tired of the living conditions. You are in a camp, people are dying, you were defending your case in court, and then you get tired of the living conditions. That's how they managed to go back to the land.
However, he did not rule that the occupants be reinstated on the land because there was a pending suit yet to be determined in the High Court of Masindi, where the occupants claim a customary interest on the land. In February 2017, these families forcefully returned to this land, which had been fenced off with barbed wire. This is after Bansigarao revealed that he erroneously parceled out land of these occupants as his own. According to a memorandum of understanding between Bansigarao and representatives of 53 families, he acknowledges that he wrongfully included land belonging to the occupants when surveying his interests on this property.
Jail on aggravated robbery charges, that he stole maize using bows and arrows, and I don't think that could happen because there are armed policemen, armed private security guards who are guarding that maize.
I recently traveled to Rwamutonga in Hoima and found a few families on this large expanse. However, the daughter of Tibagwa, Kusima, says apart from a few individuals who have a claim, the rest of the occupants were staged to grab their land.
And in the process of doing environmental impact assessment, they went down to the land to access and see if any person was there or has a right to either claim or compensation if any was there. At that time, they found 54 tenants whom we have documentation, whom we have tenants agreements for 1 year, and the agreements had expired in 2011 December. So they didn't have a right at that time, and they were like tenants at suffrage.
She accused the occupants of relying on violence and killing their livestock. Kusima also presented Google Map images to prove that this land was a ranch belonging to the father.
With technology now, we can have satellite images as far as 1970, because the Americans at that time put the satellite in space. You can access anywhere on Google Earth and get whoever says that he has ever lived anywhere. Because if you put the coordinates of that land on satellite, it will show you very well clearly.
So when it happened like that, I said, okay, fine. If these people say that they were there, there is satellite technology. I arranged and I got satellite images from 2007, 2008, 2009, 2012, and But that was afterwards, and 2015, I think. 2014, 2015. They show how the land looked before the invasion and after. It is very clear that there were no people, as evidence from the local authorities who approved the project and the satellite images.
A litany of complaints have been filed demanding for an expeditious trial. NTV has seen a letter authored by the Uganda Human Rights Commission to the Principal Judge Yorakamba Mwine on 12 April 2016 asking for a quick and fair trial. NTV has also seen a number of correspondences from the President's office and State House officials whose attempts to arbitrate the dispute have been in vain. The Masindi High Court on April 4, 2017 issued an order signed by the Assistant Registrar Achio Julia to give vacant possession of the land to Tibagwa and her daughter Kusima and to demolish any illegal structures on the land. I quote, "You are hereby directed to put Tibagwa Joshua and Kusima Robina in possession of the same and authorized to remove any property/persons bound by this decree that may refuse to vacate the same," the order states. McAllister officials have also filed a separate suit seeking a refund of the $300 as part payment to compensate bona fide occupants who are residing on this land. As the conflict over this land totters from one crisis to another, the delay in dispensing justice only portends trouble. Emmanuel Mutaizibwa, NTV.